Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.
Todd,
I'll love it. Todd, I'll love it.
Todd and Craig, good to hear you guys.
Todd, I'll love it.
This is Attorney Todd L. Levitt.
Honestly, you could not be any more spot on.
Now, from the Black Diamond Group mothership in the studios of 98.5 UPS, the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
Welcome to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm yours truly, Attorney Todd L. Levitt, broadcasting and podcasting in the middle of Mitten in a beautiful green nutrient field in the Black Diamond Group mothership with my good friend Craig Russell, the muscle. He's the dankiest, gassiest human I know, currently on location out west filming Shadow and Jacki, about to have a couple baby eagles. You know him, you love him. The water's wet, the sky is blue. I do love watching those eagles live. How about you? How you doing, Craig?
I am fan-flippin-tastic, Todd. How are you?
I could not be better. That obsession is actually mine. I don't know if anybody has any clue what it is I am referring to.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So there is an organization, a nonprofit, that has put some cameras that are on 24 hours a day atop this massive tree in California, and there's two eagles, a female and a male. The female's Jacki, and the male is Shadow, and they have 3 eggs. And it's insane just watching them take turns incubating these baby eggs. So it's you haven't seen this on Facebook, on the news anywhere?
Not at all. Nowhere.
What have you been doing, Craig?
I have a life, Todd. So
you have a life. You've been smoking it and toking it, turning it and burning it way too much here in the mothership.
Sure.
So
whatever you say.
I just can't believe you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, never heard of it. I mean, I know everybody. It seems like every couple of years there's something like this. If it isn't a camera on a gorilla or on the pandas, it's now on an eagle. I mean, there seems like there's something like this that always kind of captures the nation's fancy, if you will, and it obviously has captured yours.
Big Bear. Can you say that, Craig? Big Bear. Big Bear Bald Eagle Live Nest Cam 1. Okay. I'm telling you right now, FOB BV Cam. Now, here's the thing. If you subscribe... Whoa. What the heck was that about?
I don't know. Is that music they play on the cam?
That was Give Me Fuel, Give Me Fire, Give Me That's What I Desire. Metallica there, folks. Wow. Something just popped on my noggin. But if you I love Metallica, if you subscribe to the channel, then you can participate in the live chat. But here's what happened last week, Craig.
Okay.
Not only can humans on planet Earth not agree to anything, they had to shut down the live chat because people were causing so much stress over these 3 eggs, and they call it a pip. That's when the little tiny eagle from inside the egg kind of like nudges this little beak upward to make a little crack. People were so out of their minds, the host had to shut it down. So
yeah, what a shock.
Yeah, there you come on, people on planet Earth. Can't you just get along over watching 2 eagles?
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
By the way, I was coming home from God's country about 4 weeks ago. I meant to say something about this. On I-75 near Indian River, I actually saw an eagle and a big black hawk shearing some roadkill.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Craig,
That's
show's
impressive.
over. What you got? I'll stop talking. What you got, Craig?
I got nothing more than that, man. I'm going to be really honest with you. So on my way into the studio yesterday, I stopped and got a McGriddle. You know what a McGriddle is, right?
Yeah, I do know what a McGriddle is.
Eggs, cheese, sausage on one of those, the McGriddle buns that have got like the syrup in them and stuff. They're pancakes kind of thing.
Yeah, how's your cholesterol, by the way?
It's at a 3 million. No, my cholesterol is actually really good, believe it or not.
Yeah, about 2 years ago when you checked.
No, believe it or not.
Listen,
I get
stop
it checked
cooking your
regularly.
eggs and bacon,
No,
Craig. This isn't 1984.
I get it checked regularly, and it's really good. But
All right.
I still can smell the maple syrup on my fingers from eating that McGriddle yesterday. That's the highlight of my day so far, is I can go, maple syrup. I love maple syrup. And that's what I got, man. I got nothing. You know that whole thing about me having a life?
Yeah.
That wasn't true. I have no
people
life.
People love you. Just so you know, people love you.
Well, I love people, so.
And big shout out, by the way, to Sydney.
Sydney.
Sydney loves you. Yeah. Can you give Sydney a shout out?
Sydney, big shout out to Sydney. Who's Sydney? Why do I know Sydney?
Sydney owns Sydney's, got it called the Judge's Bench, I believe. And is that correct, John? Sydney's Judge's Bench, Wynn Road, Wynn, Michigan, south of Mount Pleasant there. Last week we had lunch there. Great place. You know, I just love those small town mom and pop bars, restaurants where they have darts and sports and, you know, cornhole competitions. And Sydney and her family and all the staff do such a great job there. I walked in. Sam, Ashley, Jen, we were all there. Jenna wasn't there. But Sam knew Sydney. Long story short, Sydney comes over and I'm introduced, and she goes, "No way! I listened to you and Craig Sunday mornings coming into work." So big shout out to everybody there in Wynn.
That's awesome.
And now Wynn is
Love those places.
Wynn is there's nothing there. There used to be an opera house there.
Okay, long time ago must have been.
But so big shout. I will be going back on a regular basis. But Craig, we are a law show, and we have some awesome law to get to today.
We should probably talk about some law, you know, just for the sake
we did
of it.
last week.
Oh yeah, I know. We do most weeks. We actually talk about.
We
some
really
law,
do.
but-
We
yeah,
really
we do. It seems like we talk about other stuff, but we do get around to talking about the law too, so it works out.
Yeah. I had a great idea, by the way.
What's that?
And this is free to the public. Feel free to do this, okay? I have no problem with this.
All right.
But I got to give credit to Becky at the Isabella County Courthouse. She planted a seed whereby I came up with this. Now, she'll take credit for it, Becky, Jody. They do such a great job. They're the scheduling alpha females at the courthouse there at Isabella County Trial Court.
Okay.
So she said the word to me, somebody did this, somebody did that, correct?
Sure.
Okay. I thought it would be now she'll take credit for this, but you know me, I'm satirical. I said, you know what? That'd be a great name to name one of your kids. Can you imagine naming your kid somebody? Growing up, the confidence that would be instilled in that young man or woman. You know, you would go to class and say, I'm going to call on somebody now. You are somebody, aren't you? You will always be somebody. I mean, can you imagine the confidence you would have if that was your name? Somebody Russell. There you go.
Somebody Levitt.
I'm not even making this up. You can name, well, first off, you got to be careful when you're naming a child because, you know, there's so much that goes along with a name.
Yep.
It's not an easy thing to do. Usually when I meet a Todd, he's usually my age, 110.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Because that's an older name, I believe.
Yeah,
now,
I think
right?
I don't think there's a lot of Todds these days. I would agree with that.
There's not.
I would agree.
But how about somebody? Would you name your kid somebody?
Somebody? I don't know
Somebody
about that.
Russell.
I don't know.
What would you say to your son on the way to school? You know you are somebody, right? Can you? I mean, think of the confidence you're instilling.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Okay, but
what would you name a young daughter?
Hold on.
Yeah.
You've only had daughters. You don't have a son, do you?
No.
No. So you know what your son would do, your 15-year-old son, if he said, you're somebody, you know what you would kind of look you'd get? The eyes rolling and, Dad, come on, quit messing with my name, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what you'd get. I don't know about a daughter, but you'd get that from a son.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, you'd get that eyes rolling and the sarcasm and, But I truly believe, you know what, I think kids that have unique names grow into them and become unique people. No offense to anybody named John or Mary or just a regular name, but I think if you name a kid something kind of unusual or out of the ordinary, they become unique people. Unique names, I think, lead to unique people. And so.
Okay. Or an athlete.
Yeah, something like that. I saw one a couple of days ago. There's a, so you know who Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels are, right? The band?
No idea.
Yeah, you do. Because when
Craig, I'm born and raised in Detroit.
In Michigan, yeah. So there's I think it's the lacrosse team at Johns Hopkins University. There's a player, and his name is, get ready for it, Mustang Sally. It's a he, but his first name is Mustang and his last name is Sally on the official school website for this lacrosse team. Mustang Sally. Detroit.
Sally.
Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. Mustang Sally. Dude.
How about Jamie's Crying, though? I mean, speaking of names. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Great song.
David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
No, David Lee Roth.
I'm going with David Lee Roth. Yeah. I mean, I like Sammy, don't get me wrong.
Look, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest guitar player of the 20th century, at least one of them, Eddie Van Halen. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, when I was in high school, Berkeley High, when Van Halen came out.
Yep. That was
those riffs and Jamie's Crying. And
Van Halen 2 was one of the first cassettes I ever bought and played it in my little Walkman in 1983. I'm telling you, man. Telling you. Classic stuff.
I had a Walkman.
Did you have a Walkman?
I did have a Walkman.
Yeah, I think everybody on our age at that time had a Walkman.
Oh, yeah. Craig, we got a lot to get to here. We do. Show. And by the way...
And we got to clip some toenails on that dog. I'm telling you.
Oh, you can still hear that dog?
Yeah.
Running across the studio here.
He brings the dog in the studio and click, 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 click.
Click, 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 click.
Click, click, click. It's funny. But we do have some law to get to. Yes, we do,
That's a cute dog, by the way.
Oh, it is.
And it's not the strain of the week. Garlic mince is the strain of the week, by the way.
Is there a
click, click? You hear the click, click, click.
Yeah, is there a strain called Cute Dog? That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
There's a strain called Little John.
Hey!
There you go.
We got to take a break.
A lot of law. We got tons of law. You know how much law we have to get to?
Probably more than we've got time for.
You got that right.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back in the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
This is attorney Todd L. Levitt here to tell you about my favorite one and only, the only one I go to, M66 Cannabis Company, recreational dispensary right here in the great state of Michigan, central northern Michigan, located at 3023 20 Mile Road, Beaverton, Michigan, between Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant, Michigan. M66 Cannabis Company is frickin' fantastic, folks, from pipes to edibles to flower, 24 different strains. The staff, all locally hired, general manager, knowledgeable, community-oriented, family-owned. Be sure to check out M66 Cannabis Company, Beaverton, Michigan.
Hey, this is Mike Messina, general manager at M66 Cannabis Company out of Barrington, Michigan, off of M66. And I want to personally invite you down to M66 Cannabis Company to come peruse our wide selection of different products, 18 different strains of flower, 29 different types of cartridges, and so much more. We've got everything that you could possibly need and a very well-trained and compassionate staff there to help you find exactly what you're looking for.
That's M66 Cannabis Company, located at 3023 20 Mile Road. That's 3023 20 Mile Road. My favorite recreational dispensary here in Michigan. Be sure to stop in and tell the folks when you get there you heard it right here on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Welcome back to the Todd 11 Law Show. Busy with Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle, paying attention to Mommy and Daddy Eagle, otherwise known as Jacki and Shadow on YouTube. Craig, I cannot freaking believe for the life of me, I cannot. Who sings that song, by the way?
You got me.
They're from Michigan, by the way. Freshmen, remember?
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
All
no
right.
idea.
Well, in any event, I have been obsessed with watching these eagles.
Yes.
24 hours incubate their eggs. It's unbelievable. They take turns. They feed one another. It's just an incredible thing to watch. It's just amazing. That's all I want to say about that, Craig. But we are a law show.
Yes.
And I do have some law to get to.
Okay.
This is some consumer law, and I tried to get Lato on the show, Steve Lato, to talk about this.
Okay.
But he's too busy with his own YouTube show.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
So the issue is, last week, and this happened to me, it took me 3 hours to cancel something, a subscription online.
Okay.
3 hours.
That's a lot.
3 hours. I find, and I'm sure a lot of listeners do, and I'm sure you do as well, Craig, that companies, and I can't be specific, I'm not going to name names, but it's almost as if you subscribe to something, you don't read the fine print, and when it comes to terminating whatever it is you are subscribed to, it's almost as if they don't want you to do it. They make it so difficult for you. They have to send you to this department, that department. You can never speak to a human. You have to send an email. Then you just get sent around all over the place. You get placed on hold. Then they disconnect you. Then you have to talk to one person. They take all your information, your account number, the reason why you're leaving. Then again, they send you somewhere else. You get disconnected. Then you got to start all over again. Something went on for 3 hours with this last week.
That's crazy.
And I'm telling you, it was insane. There has to be consumer protections against something like this. There really does. But the problem is, a lot of these corporations are based offshore or in other countries.
Yeah.
Outside of the reach of American law under the Federal Consumer Protection Act. So that's the issue.
And I totally agree, man. They make it, not only do they make it hard to try and leave, but a lot of times, some things, depending on what it is, they'll charge you X amount of dollars as a penalty for leaving early or something. Or you'll have to pay 2 months. Let's say you sign up for a 3-month plan and you leave after a month, you still got to pay the 2 months. It's a lot of crap like that. I don't like that. And I will always remember companies that do that kind of stuff and not patronize them again.
You cannot cancel subscriptions. It's insane. Then they want to know, why are you canceling? Now, there is something called the FTC. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission.
Correct.
And this is the branch of the federal government where there are consumer protection laws that prevent fraud, deception, and unfair business practices. Now, the commission, folks, and Craig, also enforces federal antitrust laws and so on and so forth. But again, how do you go about filing a complaint with the FTC? And then once you do, what are they going to do? Again, and look, I'm just telling you, it took me 3 hours to finally get through to somebody. Then they want to know, okay, what phone number, here's what they want to do. They want to send you a code to a phone number that you had 10 years ago that no longer exists.
Yep.
How often, Craig, and this has happened to me, all of a sudden, at some time during the day, you get a code sent to your phone. You're looking at it going, okay, where's this code from? Because somebody out there is trying to cancel something, and the company or the person on the other line will only send that code to the last known physical phone number.
Right.
And I was trying to tell these people, I said, look, when I registered for this product or this service, it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Well, and again, I could hardly understand what they were saying. Let me just leave it at that. And I'm not
no, you don't have to say anything more. Know exactly what you mean.
Well, I'm not implying anything bad. It was just very difficult to communicate. Too much gargle commenced there. The strain of the week. Thank you very much. I couldn't communicate. They kept saying to me, it's important that we send a code to the last known phone number. And I said, look, I don't have that number. I no longer have that number.
And
well, And so this went on for 3 hours.
And it doesn't make any sense. You're on the phone with a representative of that company. Can't they change your phone number? Look, I don't have that phone number anymore. Here's the phone number I do have. Send a code to this one. Can't they change it? Why wouldn't, why do they make it so hard to do things like that too? You can't even change your address or your phone number. I am going round and round about this with the Internal Revenue Service. I'm trying to validate my identity, verify my identity through a thing online. And it's been just a nightmare. And then you try and call these people.
I'm going to agree. Listen, we want to make sure when it does come to the IRS that you validate your identity due to the fact how sensitive that is. Now, that I understand. Craig, I can put you in touch with one of the best tax attorneys in the whole universe. So shoot me a text after the show.
I might have to.
I mean, I'm sitting right in front of you here. But again, that's my complaint to the millennia. Try to cancel something, and the fact that these companies make it so there's so many layers. I can't listen. I'm a persistent guy. I never ever give up. It's not in my DNA. I'm not that guy.
Right.
So I'm in it for the long run, and I eventually got this thing canceled. I looked at the clock. It was 2 hours and 58 seconds that I went back and forth with multiple people in multiple departments.
But you got it canceled.
I got it canceled,
you
right?
Got it canceled.
Think of all the other men and women. Now, here's the other thing. You have to be and we've talked about this week in and week out, folks. For some reason, we're talking about consumer law here. If the government is going to send you a notice, the IRS or a courthouse, they're not going to email you.
No, or call you. They'll send it in the mail.
Do not open up an email from, that wants to verify your information or your account.
You have to log in. Yeah, you have to log into your account.
Anything
or anything like that. Yep.
What I recommend you do as an attorney is contact that company on your own before you respond via email or even a text on a phone call these days.
And that's called phishing. That's what it's called. And some of those scammers, they'll send you something that looks like it's from your bank, and it says you need to log in because your bank account's been compromised or whatever. And it looks official until you look at where the email came from, and it's got 37 different characters and 22 numbers, and it doesn't look like you spell anything out, and it doesn't look like your bank at all. And then you go, Or the better one is when they send you a notice from your bank that you don't have a bank account at. That's the best one. It's like, okay, come on, give it up. I don't have a Bank America account.
Yeah, don't open anything.
Yeah,
I don't open anything. Don't touch it. You can contact your banking institution. No. You can contact a credit card company.
Yeah, get a hold of them and say what's going on.
To protect yourself.
Yep.
And tell your loved ones that. I cannot tell you, Craig, how many men and women I know who are really smart, by the way,
who fall for that stuff.
Fall to this, and I say to myself, "Come on, man! You're an educated individual.
Yeah.
Don't you listen to my show? Come on,
we teach you about this stuff. Come on,
wait a minute. Aren't you somebody? Aren't you somebody? Didn't you grow up with the name somebody and you had confidence in yourself? Stop opening up that. But it is literally impossible. And here's the other thing people do. You'll sign up for a 7-day free trial. You'll put in your credit card information, forget all about it.
And then they'll charge you.
6 months later, you're getting hit every month, and then you try to cancel that, and that's when it takes you 3 hours. Now, this has not happened to me. Mine was something completely different.
I think, you know what? I'll tell you this much. I'm not necessarily a fan of government oversight and this kind of stuff.
I'm a fan of yours, by the way.
I'm a fan of yours. But you know what? Hey now. Honest to God, the government should step in and make these places have websites with clear ways to cancel your subscription and have it be done in 2 minutes instead of 3 hours. Telling you.
Oh, that is a brilliant. Okay, Craig, I think my sister Lori would agree with this. Okay. Big shout out to Lori, by the way, right?
Yeah. Oh, Lori. Happy birthday, Lori.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lori. It was her birthday last week.
We just talked to her last week, yeah.
And Big Biker Bob's birthday was on the 5th also.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Happy birthday to
you, Biker Bob.
Yeah, Biker Bob. No, but I think that's a brilliant, brilliant idea.
Yeah, you should be able to go to said
somebody
website.
Should get some. Wait, do you think really anything is going to get done anywhere in regard to this? Absolutely
not. Not at all. Not at all.
No, not at all.
We should tell Steve Lato to talk about it on his show. You know, when he's got 8 million subscribers.
So what you're proposing, which I think is brilliant, and maybe it already exists out there, but I don't know of it, is to pass legislation that makes it a law, a federal law,
Yes.
that the states have to adopt, whereby they have to make it easier for consumers to cancel subscriptions.
Yeah. Simple
Now,
as
in
that.
fairness to a lot of corporations out there, if you subscribe to streaming channels, I find it very simplistic to unsubscribe to those. And I'm sure the listeners would love to know what it was that I was trying to terminate that took 3 freaking hours. And the whole issue was they couldn't validate that I was who I said I was due to the fact that the cell number I had 10 years ago is no longer the same cell number for them to send a freaking code to.
Well, tell you what, here's some.
We're not talking about like taxes, the IRS, or banking, or anything to do with my law firm. We're talking about something so minute that it's so satirical, you would think you're on a Larry David episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah. Here you go. If people stick around for the 5th segment of the show, that's when we'll tell them what company it is.
Yeah, and by the way, that's like telling you to tie your sock. By the way, we need to talk about my shoes.
Yes, we will talk about your shoes. I will wrap up the segment here just right now to saying there are some companies that when you try and cancel actually will make it easier for you to stick around. And I'll tell you one of them. I'll name them by name. SiriusXM, satellite radio.
I love SiriusXM satellite radio.
If you're paying $25 a month and you call them up and say, you know what, this is just too expensive, I need to cancel. You know what they're going to most of the time they do? They offer you, hey, if we gave you 6 months for $25, $5 a month, would you stick around? Most people go,
okay, here's the issue I have with that. Here's the issue I have with that. I've dealt with this when I went from, this satellite to this company, to that company. If I call you and say, listen, Craig, I want to cancel my subscription or account, and I have a contractual right to do so at the time, don't ask me 100 questions trying to get me or give me a better deal to get me to stay. If I want to cancel, let's just cancel it and let me get on with my freaking day. I've already been through that, Craig. I don't need 20% off. I don't need a free month. Refer a friend. Just cancel whatever it is I'm trying to cancel and let me go on my day. And I'm not blaming the men and women who work for these companies because they have to go through the routine.
They're trying to keep people connected. I mean,
maybe they get commission, but I'm just telling you as a consumer, it's an annoying thing to do. You call them up. I'd like to cancel my plan. And then they got to go through 100 questions, and then they switch you to somebody else, and then you lose the call. Then you got to call back. You got to start all over again. Then they try to validate your phone number that's 25 years old. When I had a pager, not a phone. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I can't take it anymore. It's time to smoke it, toke it, turn it, and burn it, and go to break.
Yes, I agree. And when we come back, we'll talk about your feet.
My shoes.
Your shoes. Coming up.
This is attorney Todd L. Levitt here to tell you about my favorite one and only, the only one I go to, M66 Cannabis Company, recreational dispensary right here in the great state of Michigan, central northern Michigan, located at 3023 20 Mile Road, Beaverton, Michigan, between Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant, Michigan. M66 Cannabis Company is frickin' fantastic, folks, from pipes to edibles to flower, 24 different strains. The staff, all locally hired, general manager, knowledgeable, community-oriented, family-owned. Be sure to check out M66 Cannabis Company, Beaverton, Michigan.
Hey, this is Mike Messina, general manager at M66 Cannabis Company out of Barryton, Michigan, off of M66. And I want to personally invite you down to M66 Cannabis Company to come peruse our wide selection of different products, 18 different strains of flower, 29 different types of cartridges, and so much more. We've got everything that you could possibly need and a very well-trained and compassionate staff there to help you find exactly what you're looking for.
That's M66 Cannabis Company, located at 3023 20 Mile Road. That's 3023 20 Mile Road. My favorite recreational dispensary here in Michigan. Be sure to stop in and tell the folks when you get there you heard it right here on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
He
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
Yeah.
Hucking it and chucking it with Van Halen.
Turning it and burning it.
Yes, that's right. It's Craig. It's Todd. And Todd, I have to ask a question. Why are people infatuated with your shoes?
I have no idea. I've never look. I think it's really important as an individual. Let me just talk. And I'm not talking about this particular shoe as of yet, but I think it's important as an attorney. When I go to court, I wear often shoes that I purchased at a tuxedo shop. I wear those black patent leather shiny shoes because people look at your shoes. It's a reflection on who you are. If I'm an attorney walking into court, I don't want to look like my cousin Vinny, although people think I'm like that. I'd rather think I'm more like a young Sylvester Stallone, Craig. Would you go with that?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. My point is, I have a pair of Merrell, the company Merrell, 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 from Rockford, Michigan. I have a pair of Gore-Tex Merrell hiking winter ice boots. That's what they are.
Okay.
They are gray and bright orange. They are waterproof, warm, and have the best traction. But the orange, the letters Merrell go across the side of their ankle-high shoes, but the orange goes all along the bottom of the rim of the shoes, the boots.
Okay.
I had a lady in Meyer last week, right by the creamer, by the way. I know exactly where this was. She said, "Can I take a picture of your shoes?" A true story. She was a nice lady. Maybe she listened to the show. She said her husband is a helicopter mechanic, and she wanted to get these shoes for him. So I literally looked them up online and gave her the actual code where to buy these shoes. And then throughout the week, I was in court last week. One of the prosecutors said, "Todd," because he's an outdoor guy, "I love those shoes. Where'd you get them?" And yeah, I wore these shoes to court because I didn't have any court. I was there to file something. Anyhow, I'm telling you, I'm going to send you a picture afterwards, Craig, of the shoe.
Okay.
You can see what I'm talking about.
Are these made by Wolverine Worldwide in Rockford?
No, Merrell Shoe Company.
Yeah, but isn't that a derivative of Wolverine Worldwide? They're a big shoe company out of Rockford.
I have no idea.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
but that's really crazy. That's crazy, though. That's crazy. You've never had anybody take a picture of your shoes before.
No. Men and women coming up to me about my shoes. and here, it's called the Thermo Rogue 3 Mid Gore-Tex Merrell. I should get commission for that.
I was going to say, you're not getting paid or anything for that. You just like the shoes.
It's a badass shoe. I'm gonna show you right now. You ready for this?
All right. Let me see.
All right, hold on. Here it is. Give me a second.
Couldn't have wore them this morning. You just have to send me a picture of them.
No, I'm not wearing them this morning.
No, I know.
But we're talking about consumer protections, Craig.
Agreed.
And scams and everything that goes on out there. We both agree, as we did in the last segment, that you should never, ever, ever, if you get a text and it's suspicious, do not open it, number one. Do not open it. Number two, the IRS is not going to text you. They're not going to email you. They're going to send you through snail mail a certified letter or through the mail. That's how that's coming, folks. Okay, Craig?
Yes.
Follow me?
I'm sorry. I was mesmerized by the shoe. That's a cool looking shoe.
I'm telling you, it's a cool looking shoe.
Because it's got the laces that go all the way to the back of the shoe.
Correct.
And the orange part. That's a really sharp looking shoe.
Thank you.
Man.
Appreciate that.
Wow.
So
I wish I made Todd Levitt money to afford that shoe. Man.
Now, come on. What are you talking about? You're a big star.
No,
You're a big
whatever.
Radio star. I wish I had your job. I do once a week, actually.
You do once a week.
Well, since we're on the topic of consumer protection,
yes,
each state has an attorney general's office.
Right.
And they have attorneys at the state level who do enforce complaints regarding corporations that are licensed and certified to do business within that state.
That's
so
exactly
the question
right.
is, if you have an issue with a product or a service or a company, you can absolutely contact the state in which you live in the Attorney General's office and ask for the Labor Department or the Consumer Protection Department.
Yes.
And there are attorneys who are assigned to those complaints.
And also, you have other avenues you can go down. That's one of them. The other one is the Better Business Bureau. If you ever feel like you're being wronged by a company or something.
Just going. Yeah, but if somebody wants action.
True. That's more of a complaint vessel, the Better Business Bureau. But still, or that's a good place to research places before you even get signed up for something, is to go online and say, hey, does this company have a lot of complaints against them? Why? What's going on? Maybe I should pick a different company to get my internet through instead of that company, or something like that.
No, that's a good point. And again, you can ask the question, consumer protection laws, what are they? I mean, they safeguard purchasers of goods and services against defective products and, Craig, deceptive, fraudulent business practices. But here's the issue as an attorney. There is not okay, if somebody has a consumer issue and they call my office, number one, I don't practice that law.
Sure.
We're very kind. We try to answer the question. At least I do. I'm the only one that can do that as an attorney. By the way, folks, only lawyers who are licensed to practice law in whichever state you live in can practice law. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to answer a lot of these questions. But again, I'm a very specialized lawyer, driver's license restoration and drunk driving cases and a few other things. But, and we'll refer these cases out to other people. But the thing is, there's not people call with labor issues, employment issues, especially consumer law issues. There's no lawyers out there that you can hire that specialize in consumer law. Now, Steve Lado, who's one of our best friends, he is a lemon lawyer. So that's a consumer product. You purchase a vehicle, and it has to be a new vehicle, by the way. Lemon law only applies to new vehicles. Did you know that, Craig?
I did know that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you over the years how many phone calls we receive at the office where somebody buys a used vehicle, and then something goes wrong, and I have to tell them, well, one, did you read the contract? Because it probably said you're buying this as is.
Yep.
Those two words, as is, very important. Well, but I bought a warranty. Okay, well, did you read the language of the warranty? What is that warranty for?
Yep.
It's not to, it has nothing to do with what just went wrong, you see? So, so there's I don't know how, we need more protections for consumers out there, as if there's not enough already. The problem is trying to enforce them. I think as a lawyer, that's the problem. How to enforce these consumer issues that consumers have.
Sure, they're hard to track down. Plus, on top of it,
they're overseas.
Companies are overseas.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have to follow our laws when it comes to some of that stuff.
Correct.
Hard
Can't
to
trace
really,
them.
really hard to find. Now, I'll say this much. On the other hand of that, in this day and age of the internet and people being savvy, and especially people watching their money, you really should do your research before you got any kind of product. I know it sounds like a pain in the butt, but you're going to solve a lot of those problems ahead of time. If you do a little bit of research, you go online, you look for some good or bad reviews. Now, look, reviews aren't the end all, but you can start to see a pattern after a while and say, hey, there's a product that has, 100 good reviews and no bad reviews. That sounds a little suspect. On the other hand, there's a product that's got 0 good reviews and 100 bad reviews. I think I'll stay away from that. You can do some research to kind of help yourself. You're not always going to be able to solve those kind of problems. Sometimes you're going to get taken. Sometimes a company's going to be unscrupulous. Sometimes they're going to not stand up for what they say they were going to. There certainly needs to be better protections for consumers. Even if you do your research, you're still going to possibly end up having some problems. So, again, if you buy a lemon car, a new car, call Steve Lado. He's your man. And there's probably other lawyers that handle certain kinds of things like that. But yeah, it's hard to track them down sometimes. But American companies are always good. That's a good place to start and do your research.
Yeah, also, though, again, at least in Michigan, if you go to the Attorney General's website, I know this for a fact. I have some friends who are assistant attorney generals. You can, and one of them just texted me to say, Todd, tell the listeners that online on the Michigan Attorney General website, you can file a complaint. The Consumer Protection, there's a complaint directory. You can file a complaint. There's all kinds of things you can do. There's frequently asked questions. There's all kinds of things you can do if you have a complaint against a consumer, a corporation, a nonprofit in the state of Michigan. So be sure to check those out.
Yeah, you should. You should check that out. Arm yourself with plenty of information. Again, in this day and age with the internet and people being as tech savvy as they are, you should be able to do lots of research on stuff you're going to buy so you make a smart choice.
Yeah, at least in Michigan.
Yes.
Okay, in our state that we're recording this, the Attorney General does have a consumer protection division. There are phone numbers, there are fax numbers, there are complaint forms you can fill out, and there's also a list of all these federal agencies. If you have a complaint, whether it's against airline or anything, there's information there right there. So that's really important. And again, I'm not a consumer lawyer. I'm a criminal defense license restoration drunk driving lawyer. I mean, over the decades, I've done all kinds of different legal matters. In fact, my commercial that I run on a radio, Craig, we need to modify it. It says for 2 decades. I've been doing this for more than 3 decades. Yeah, 3 decades.
Wow, we gotta get that spiced up, Todd.
And by the way, I'm an attorney. I know my commercial runs around the clock on at least 5 stations, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I get tired of seeing all those lawyer commercials on TV. I'm just going to say it. And look, I know a lot of these lawyers. I'm not knocking them. They have every right to do it just as I do. But I mean, I'm just worn out from the insurance commercials and the lawyer commercials.
Yep,
I'm just going to say that. And I know, well, Todd, we hear your licensed restoration commercial all the time. Yeah, true, but I'm one of the few licensed restoration lawyers in this region, so at least I'm letting you know how you can get a hold of me.
When it comes right down to it, though, you're not sick of your own commercial. You're just sick of all these other commercials.
I don't even listen to myself. Seriously.
I think it's funnier if you're sick of your own, not sick of your own commercial, but sick of everybody else's. So, but
no, I'm not sick of anybody else's commercial. Every time I turn the TV on, you've been in a motorcycle accident, heavy truck, and look, a lot of people have been. Don't get me wrong; these are tragic situations. But I'm just overwhelmed with some of the lawyer ads. And again, I don't want to knock them because I know some of these lawyers really well, and a couple of them are friends of mine. But I'm just going to say this, Craig. If I'm in an accident, God forbid, I'm calling 911. I'm not calling a lawyer. I'm just telling you that right now. And by the way, as a criminal defense lawyer, it doesn't do you any good to call a lawyer. One, you can't get a hold of him or her in the first place.
True.
You're better off calling a loved one to get yourself bonded out. The lawyer can't do anything. A lawyer absolutely, unequivocally, folks, this is a myth, cannot get up at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're highly intoxicated, go down to the sheriff's department and get you out of jail. It's just not happening. By the way, speaking of sheriffs, massive love right now, Craig, to the Clare County Sheriff's Department. All the sergeants out there, the deputies, Clare, Harrison, the city of Clare, Farwell, massive love to Clare County Sheriff's Department. That's all I'm going to say. Great job, the men and women, as does Isabella, Gratiot, Roscommon, Montcalm, Midland. Love those guys, men and women, Mecosta, everybody. But I had some great conversations with the troopers last week, bunch of young troopers. It's good to see some young troopers, very professional men from the Mount Pleasant Post, especially Dan. Big shout out to my buddy Dan, who's a troop. There you go. There's some brown nosing there.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Craig,
bit.
You are somebody. I just want to tell you that.
Thank you.
We've not filed a consumer protection against you, my friend. Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle.
I hope not. I'm not cheating you. We got to take a break on the Todd Levitt Law Show.
Or on me, right?
That's right. We'll be back to wrap the show up next.
This is attorney Todd L. Levitt here to tell you about my favorite one and only, the only one I go to, M66 Cannabis Company, recreational dispensary right here in the great state of Michigan, central northern Michigan, located at 3023 20 Mile Road, Beaverton, Michigan, between Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant, Michigan. M66 Cannabis Company is frickin' fantastic, folks, from pipes to edibles to flower, 24 different strains. The staff, all locally hired, general manager, knowledgeable, community-oriented, family-owned. Be sure to check out M66 Cannabis Company, Beaverton, Michigan.
Hey, this is Mike Messina, general manager at M66 Cannabis Company out of Barryton, Michigan, off of M66. And I want to personally invite you down to M66 Cannabis Company to come peruse our wide selection of different products, 18 different strains of flower, 29 different types of cartridges, and so much more. We've got everything that you could possibly need and a very well-trained and compassionate staff there to help you find exactly what you're looking for.
That's M66 Cannabis Company, located at 3023 20 Mile Road. That's 3023 20 Mile Road. My favorite recreational dispensary here in Michigan. Be sure to stop in and tell the folks when you get there you heard it right here on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Welcome back to the Todd 11 Law Show, turning it and burning it, smoking it and toking it with my good friend, Greg Russell, the muscle, the hustle. He is the top consumer advocate in the middle of the mitten, in the Black Diamond Group mothership, and he is somebody. How you doing, Craig?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Todd. Hey, Todd, I got to ask you, I know you have been out riding the Dragon. How many miles did you this last week?
Oh, yeah. I just did 42 miles the other day.
Holy crap. And how old are you?
I'll be 59.
Wow. How do you keep doing this? How do you keep at 59 keep riding 40 miles a week on your fat bike? How do you keep doing that?
I mean, it was more. I ride more than 40 miles a week. That was just 40 miles in one shot. It took me almost 4.5 hours.
How do you keep doing that?
Because what happens is, one, I've been doing it for 30 years. That's the first thing, and I've been fortunate. I don't have any back or knee issues or ligament issues. Number two. 3, whatever type of athlete you are, again, and whether you fish, and those are athletes, you're using some type of body part. If you do it, decade after decade, there's something called muscle memory.
Sure.
It's almost as if your DNA is trained a certain way. Now, when you bike for long periods of time, for most people, if you get on a mountain bike and you go to a trail like the single track Dragon Trail, after a few miles, the pain sets in, maybe you're cold, you have an ache. It's a natural thing. Your brain's going to tell your body to stop, and you just stop. But when you do something year in and year out, for years, it's almost as if that's not an issue because your muscles and your brain, nothing tells you to stop. You just kind of power through it. So if you have a pain or an ache, there's no mental breakdown where you're going to hit a wall and you're going to say, oh God, I'm just going to stop. I mean, when you start, okay, I'm doing 42 miles. That's how long I'm doing start to end on this course. I mean, you could go 4 or 5 miles. I mean, but we just chose to do the whole thing. The other thing is, aside from good health, luck, proper equipment, you have to be hydrated. We carry electrolytes with us, salt, fuel. You have to have so many calories per hour, stay hydrated. The key is to hydrate before you go on a long exercise like that. And here's the thing that always bothers me. There's always men and women out there with their kids doing things on these trails every year in and year out who overextend themselves, don't have any water. We stop, we offer them, you need anything, need some help, and sometimes we have to help them. You don't want anything bad to happen to people out there. But that's all it is, Craig. It's just like anything else in life. You've done it for so long. You have the mental, the physical, the machine. Your body's a machine. The bike's a machine. It's tuned up. But it has to do with your capacity your body doesn't tell you stop. You just keep going and you grind through it. That's the only way I can describe it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And plus, on top of it, you take really good care of your body. You really do. I mean,
throughout the years, you do have, I've crashed, I've bruised ribs, I've gone to the hospital, I've done endos, I've crashed into, over ravines and stuff. It's interesting because the worst crashes I've had nothing to do with anything sketchy or dangerous. It was when you just, for that split second, failed to pay attention. You either shifted your gear a wrong way. You didn't see a branch sticking out that may have been fallen from a storm. I mean, it's always something that you just didn't foresee happening. As experienced as somebody is out there, no matter what sport it is, you can always get hurt.
It's true. I mean,
you can always get hurt. I don't care. You cannot get cocky. You cannot get arrogant. You always have to be on your game, but you can still get hurt. Every time you go out there, you don't want to get hurt. You want to come home to your loved ones.
It's true.
That's the only way to explain. I don't know if anybody wants to hear that, but
no, makes sense.
I think that goes with any sport. So when you're my age at 59, you've been doing it for 30 years. I know handfuls of men and women who are into their 60s still doing this stuff.
Well, it's going to be you in 2 years. I don't think you're going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah,
you're not.
Okay, this is a whole nother show. I know we have to go.
Yeah,
I said this before. I feel that men and women who have addictions to alcohol and drugs, there should be a program within the court system with doctor approval where they can be put on an exercise, swim, walk training regimen to retool their brain and their system to get that adrenaline rush and those chemicals that help them heal their souls, their bodies, and their minds and addictions. Maybe together with some therapy and counseling. but I would like to see some exercise programs implemented into the court system.
I think it's a great idea.
There you go. With that, we have to go.
We've come up with a lot of great ideas today. Yep. Todd,
Yeah,
you're
Craig,
right.
you are my peaky blinder. I just want you to know that.
And you are somebody, Todd.
Yeah.
And the show's over. We got to go.
Craig, come on, Craig.
Come on,
Has Shadow
Todd.
and Jackie had their baby eagles yet? That's all
I
I
have
want.
no idea.
I'm not just a litigator. I'm an advocator, and I'm not here for a long time. You and I are here for a good time. And whoever Jamie is, she's crying. Take us out with some Van Halen.
The Todd L. Levitt Law Show, brought to you by Clark Modular Homes of Mount Pleasant, Rusty Gold Antiques in Everett, Chad Malley Well Drilling of Rosebush, Clear Vision Windows, Siding and Roofing of Midland, and attorney Todd L. Levitt.
Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.